Well, hey everybody, this is Robert and welcome to Outbreak News TV. And on this video, I want to take a look at two big stories that happened in the past week. One was the declaration that the 11th Ebola outbreak in the DRC is over. Big news, right? And the other one is some research that came out about Chapare virus and human-to-human transmission. And this is from a little outbreak that occurred in Bolivia about a year and a half ago. So let's go ahead and take a look at these stories. And this is from the World Health Organization, and this was from Wednesday. And it says, today marks the end of the 11th Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, nearly 6 months after the first cases were reported in Equator province. The end of the outbreak. So it was pretty quick, less than 6 months. The outbreak took place in communities scattered across dense rainforests as well as crowded urban areas, creating logistical challenges. The World Health Organization congratulates responders and all those who tirelessly tracked cases, provided treatment, engaged communities, and vaccinated more than 40,000 people at high risk. Vaccinators used an innovative cold chain storage to keep Ebola vaccine at temperatures as low as minus 80 degrees C. And here's a quote from the World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa. And he says, overcoming one of the world's most dangerous pathogens in remote and hard to access communities demonstrates what is possible when science and solidarity come together. The technology used to keep Ebola vaccine at super cold temperatures will be helpful when bringing a COVID vaccine to Africa. Tackling Ebola in parallel with COVID-19 hasn't been easy, but much of the expertise we've built in one disease is transferable to another and underlines the importance of investing in emergency preparedness and building local capacity. So this outbreak began on June 1st of this year. And this was going on while there was another outbreak of Ebola on the other side of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So they were going on concurrently. And they were unrelated, and that was determined genetically. But by the time this outbreak was declared over, there was 119 confirmed cases, 11 probable, and 55 fatalities. And just to let you know, while the 11th outbreak in DRC began on June 1st, on June 25th of this year, the 10th outbreak of Ebola in DRC ended. And like I said, that was on the other side of the country. And the outbreak declared in North Kivu on August 1, 2018. So this outbreak lasted almost 2 years, was the second largest in the world, and was particularly challenging as it took place in an active conflict zone. There were 3,470 cases, 2,287 fatalities, and over 1,100 survivors. So this was all going on in the DRC at the same time for about 3 weeks. 2 different outbreaks, plus measles outbreaks, cholera, monkeypox, all kinds of issues that are infectious disease issues going on in that country, plus all the issues with armed gangs and violence and the movement of people and just a lot of horrible things going on all at one time in the DRC. But anyway, here we are in November 22 of 2020, and there is no Ebola outbreaks going on anywhere in the world as far as we know. And just to give you a little bit of history, in case you didn't know, the first outbreak of known Ebola virus disease occurred in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in 1976, and that resulted in 318 cases of Zaire Ebola virus and 280 fatalities, 88% case fatality rate, really high. And it goes all the way up. Some of the other big ones in the year 2000, there was a Sudan Ebola virus outbreak that there was 425 cases and about half of them died. And that was the largest outbreak for quite a few years until 2014. And that's when we saw the massive one in Western Africa, Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone. There were some cases in Nigeria where this was another Zaire Ebola virus outbreak. And this is the outbreak that really prompted a lot of research on treatments, on the vaccine, and other areas of taking care of this incredibly serious and lethal virus. And this outbreak had more than 28,000 cases and more than 11,000 fatalities, 39% case fatality rate. And then we can go all the way up to where we are now with the Ebola virus outbreak we just saw end, and several other ones, including the one that ended on June 25th. So Ebola has been around for a while. And right now we're just keeping an eye on these different hotspots because, as health officials always warn, this stuff can pop up again at any time if you don't remain vigilant when dealing with these viruses. All right, let's switch gears to Chapare virus. And I did a video about a year and a half ago when this epidemiological alert first came out from the Pan American Health Organization. And it said at the time, on June 28th, 2019, the Ministry of Health of Bolivia received a report of 3 cases of hemorrhagic febrile syndrome of unknown etiology with suspected human-to-human transmission. As of 17 July 2019, there are a total of 5 cases. 3 of them were deaths. Of the total cases, 3 had been laboratory confirmed, 1 fatal, and 2 have been classified as probable cases, both fatal. 4 of the 5 cases are male with ages ranging from 21 to 65. 3 of the cases were healthcare workers, and the other 2 were agricultural workers. And they said here, this was a year and a half ago, the probable site of exposure for the healthcare workers was the hospital setting, where they had direct contact with blood, respiratory, and gastrointestinal secretions during invasive procedures, intubation, and endoscopy that were performed for one of the cases. For the agricultural workers, exposure likely occurred during rice harvest in Siliamo Community, Guayna Municipality, La Paz Department. So this was a year and a half ago. And then this came out last Monday, and it was a study. Well, not a study. It was a paper presentation that was given at the meeting of the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. And what they write about the outbreak was researchers have discovered that a deadly virus found in Bolivia can spread from person to person in healthcare settings, raising potential concerns of additional outbreaks in the future. Researchers from the CDC laid out new clues to the many mysteries surrounding the Chapare virus, which caused at least 5 infections near Bolivia's capital city, La Paz, in 2019, right around the end of spring, early summer of 2019. 3 of them were fatal. Prior to that, the only record of the disease was a small cluster and a single confirmed case in 2004 in Bolivia's Chapare province, about 370 miles east of La Paz. The recent outbreak surprised health authorities since initially all they knew was that it was hemorrhagic fever that produced symptoms similar to diseases like Ebola. It sparked a rapid mobilization of infectious disease experts from Bolivia's Ministry of Health, the CDC, and the PAHO to explore the origins of the disease, to secure samples, and develop a diagnostic test. Dr. Caitlin Kassenboom, an epidemiologist with the CDC, said, "Our work confirmed that a young medical resident, an ambulance medic, and a gastroenterologist all contracted the virus after encounters with infected patients, and 2 of those healthcare workers later died. We now believe many bodily fluids can potentially carry the virus." Kassenboom said that the confirmation of human-to-human transmission shows healthcare providers and anyone else dealing with the suspected cases must take extreme care to avoid contact with items that may be contaminated with blood, urine, saliva, or semen. For example, there is evidence that the medical resident who died from the disease may have been infected while suctioning saliva from a patient. The ambulance medic who was infected but survived was likely infected when he resuscitated the same medical resident as she was being transported to a hospital after she fell ill. Researchers also detected viral RNA in the semen of one survivor 168 days after infection, which also raises possibility of sexual transmission. Chapare belongs to a group of viruses called arenaviruses. They include dangerous pathogens such as Lassa fever, which causes thousands of deaths annually in West Africa, and Machupo virus, which has caused deadly outbreaks in Bolivia. Chapare virus can cause hemorrhagic fever, a condition that's also seen in Ebola patients, and can produce severe problems across multiple organs. Kassenboom noted that the patients in the 2019 Chapare outbreak suffered fever, abdominal pain, vomiting, bleeding gums, skin rash, and pain behind the eyes. Like a lot of viruses, there is no specific treatment, so patients are treated mainly with IV fluids and other supportive care. There is still much that remains unknown about Chapare, chiefly where it originated, how it infects humans, and the likelihood of larger outbreaks in Bolivia and elsewhere in South America. So that was 2 of the biggest stories outside of COVID-19 that occurred last week. And they were both covered on the website, outbreaknewstoday.com. And if you want to check out more, you can check out the website. We follow all the stuff pretty closely on the website. Anyway, just wanted to go over those 2 stories. I hope you enjoyed watching this and hope you learned something. And if you like what you saw, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, comment below. And I'll see you next time on Outbreak News TV.